Welcome back to Conversing Over Drinks. It is your host, Cedric Turner. And today we have a great guest. I have my buddy Nick on here, and we're going to be talking about the weight that we carry, how our childhood trauma shapes who we become as adults. It's been a while since I've been on here. I think my last episode was back in March, and it's been a big transition. We'll talk about that later in the episode. But when we're talking about childhood trauma, sometimes we all have scars that we can't see and things from our childhood that still whisper in our ears as adults. Today, we're just going to talk about how that shapes you as an adult and how you deal with different things. But before we get into that, I want my buddy Nick to introduce himself to you guys. Nick, go ahead.
Cedric, thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So, how you doing, everybody? My name is Nick, Nick Quintela. Thanks for tuning in and watching us. And then, Cedric, thank you for giving us a space to have a real conversation, brother.
Always.
Sometimes conversations are easy to have. But sometimes they're not the most easy, but sometimes they need to be talked about. Like you said, we're going to be talking about the weight we carry from childhood. And things that shape us, and before we understand how deep they go, So I'm no professional. I'm no medical expert. I'm just someone who is, I don't even like to say is a victim of trauma. I like to say that I've experienced trauma and I've healed from it. And I just like to share my testimony and my experiences with others, just to show everyone that peace is attainable, healing is attainable, and they are very much worthy of healing and peace.
Yeah, that's a great way to start it. And before we get into this episode, we just want to talk about that. This childhood trauma is not, we're not trying to judge your childhood trauma or judge my childhood trauma. It's just us speaking about what we grew up in and how it shaped us as men, because this is a conversation that a lot of men do not have. It has been a stigma. It's always been a thing where sometimes I feel like, as much as I love the ladies, that they don't understand it, because it's okay for them to come to us with their issues, and we're supposed to listen to them. We're supposed to hear them, help them heal. That is what we have always been taught as men growing up. But I feel like a disservice has been taught to women, because women don't know how to help men heal, and we've gone through trauma as well. And one of the phrases I hate to hear all the time is, "You got to man up and just be a man about it."
Yep.
I hate that phrase, because it's like,
I'm right there with you, man. That's terrible, man.
Like how? Like if I wasn't taught that as a child, if I wasn't taught that growing up, if I didn't have that male figure in my life teaching me that, how am I supposed to know how to act like that? So first things first,
right.
What comes to your mind when you hear the word trauma?
Yeah. So again, these conversations are going to be real. They're going to be honest, and I'm an open book. So whatever I share with you, I'm going to share with the audience, man. This is my life. So when I hear the word trauma, I personally think of my father.
Yeah.
He just wasn't physically abusive. He was mentally abusive, emotionally abusive. He would often say things that would make me question who I was before I even had a chance to find out for myself who I was. When a kid hears things like that, it just sticks, and it sticks for a while. I'm sure back in the day, I grew up in the 90s. Back in the day, men's mental health and, feelings and emotions, they weren't really as talked about as they are today. But especially with fathers and their children, so back then, when my father would say things to me, I just had to take it on the chin and stay quiet. And but you start believing in those lies. You start to believe that you're not good enough, you're not smart, you're not worthy of love, and those lies follow you. They follow you for sure. They become the voice in your head. And even when that person isn't around you anymore, you still constantly hear that little voice telling you those lies. So, and you know. So a lot of people like to think trauma as an event that happens to them, a certain situation, or like they were put in a place where they just were uncomfortable. But you know, it's not just an event, it's also the echo. It's the damage that lingers in your thoughts, in your heart, and the way you see yourself. So.
Oh yeah, like it's very different transition and understanding of the word trauma.
Yeah,
like, and it's very different of how you grow up with it. Like, it's in comparison, I've known, like I used to tell people all the time, everybody has a story. It's just somebody's story may be a little bit darker than yours,
absolutely,
and a little bit deeper than yours. And it's not on us to judge that person off of their story. It's us to listen. Like, it's just listening here. And everybody grows from it different. Like I've been told many times, people don't understand how I am the person I am with the stuff I went through.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
Right there with you. Yep.
Like, man, you can make it a crutch or you can make it something else. And I was like, and for a long time, I was doing both. I was making it a crutch and I was making it push me. I was like, but the dad thing, like, when I was like, people always used to say I was mean because I was big on roasting, and that's just our culture as black men. Like, we roast. That's just what we do. I've been roasted forever, my whole life. I was like, my first nickname was Big Head Sad because I had a big head. So, I was like, but I used to tell people all the time, I was like, you think I'm bad? I was like, my dad would make you want to kill yourself. I was like, I was like, and sometimes I was like, you got to laugh through the pain. I was like, because at the time as a kid, it hurt like hell. I was like, when you get older, like, you can't hold on to that. You gotta try to find some solace in it, or try to find some reasoning behind it, or try to find some understanding of why they would say it. And I there was a story with my dad where there was a time I was an awkward 12-year-old. I was always wearing size 13 shoes, and I was a skinny little kid. And I was walking around, and like it was early in the morning. I went outside, and I mean, everybody sees the cowboy hat right now. I grew up in the country, but I went outside, and I'm just in some jeans and some ropers. If people know what ropers are, they'll understand. Is the type of shoe. It's a type of shoe. I was just in some jeans, some ropers, no shirt, cowboy hat. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm just outside doing what I got to do in the morning, feeding the chickens, and the horses watered, doing all that. I come back up to the house. My dad's sitting outside with a cup of coffee. And he looks me up and down. He's like, boy, I hope you grow into them feet because you ugly as hell. I was just like, he's like, come on, man. 5:30 in the morning. Like, what we doing?
Let me wake up first.
I spent the whole day questioning myself.
Right.
Whole day, like, just asking teachers left or right to go to the bathroom, looking at the mirror like, you stupid ugly motherfucker. I'm like, yeah, damn, bro. Like, let me wake up first. It's like this. But I mean, that's something I had to learn to find comedy in when I got older. But as a kid, that crushed me. I was just like,
you get roasted at 5:30 in the morning.
Damn, bro. Like, I mean, I was like, and what made it worse, I was like, everybody say I look like you. So
come on now.
Like, come on, man.
So let me ask you this. Trauma to me personally is my father. In your experience, how do you define trauma? What's trauma to you?
Trauma to me is, I mean, just my childhood. My childhood was it was different. I had an abusive mother. I had a absentee father. Like, I didn't really know that he was around until I was I want to say 10, maybe 10 or 11. And it really, really pissed me off. I grew up in the foster care system because my mother was abusive. And our entire time during the foster care system, I never went to go live with my dad. I didn't think he lived in the state. Like, I was told that he didn't live in the state, and da-da-da. Then the third time, my mom lost her parental rights. I went to go live with my dad. And like I remember my social worker coming in and she was like, "Hey, you're gonna go live with your dad." And I was like, "So I'm moving to a different state?" And she was like, "No, your dad lives in Tecumseh." And at the time I was living in Oklahoma City. And Tecumseh and Oklahoma City are 45 minutes apart. And I was like, "Bro, he been right up the road.
Right around the corner.
Like even right up the road." And like
could have seen him at the grocery store.
I was like, this is what we doing? I was like, it was just an immediate trigger in my head where I was just like, fuck that dude. It was like, but I mean, as a kid, it's also I want to go because I want that recognition. I want that validation from a father that I hadn't had. And so it was and especially when you're having like I'm the oldest in my family from my mom's side. And so like it was having to grow up so quick and I'm raising most of my younger siblings. And it's like then stepping into this where something I've been doing my entire life. And then I got this guy that I don't even know who's telling me, hey, like you don't do that. I do that. I'm like, who the fuck are you to tell me what I do? You ain't even been there. I'm like, bro, you been right up the fucking road. You ain't saying shit. Like so, and then
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, with being the oldest, do you feel like you got more brunt of the childhood like trauma, the more of like the
so much more, because like I've tried to get better with it as I've gotten older, especially talking to my mom and my dad, which is always annoying to me because like I've had to tell this to kids that I've worked with when they're like, well, my mom and dad are always mad because I don't reach out. I'm like, you shouldn't have to reach out. I'm like, that. I was like, you ain't. I was like, they're your parent. They should want to check on you. I was like, you should want to check on them until you a grown ass man and they old. I'm like you 13. They should want to know what you're doing. Like you're 13. I was like, it should not be your job to check on them.
Absolutely.
But it was very different because like, so my mother being adopted, she was adopted by my grandmother and grandfather on that side. And like I don't think she ever felt like truly accepted. And I always thought she felt like the outsider, especially when I got older. Like I felt like she thought she was the outsider. And what made it worse was once I became oh man, I thought I put that on mute. I was like once I was there as a grandchild, like I just integrated so well. Like my grandmother loved me, my grandfather loved me. It was like she was seeing the love from them that she had never got, and she took out all that from me. And it was like unknowingly she made me feel the same way she felt when she was growing up. And then it's like seeing how she changes and grows and matures and how she treats all the younger siblings different as we get older. And I'm just like, where was that for me? Like it's it's so I was like, as I got older, it's like it's been like I'm a religious person, always have been. I stick by the Bible, and it's always been a respect for my mother and father. There's always been a respect there. I respect them for giving me life. I was like, I respect them for that part. I was like, but it's always been hard for me as I get older to like reach out and talk to them. Like, and that's like to have a conversation with them, to want to talk to them as much as other people talk to their parents. Like I hear like Buddy, like he talks to his mom every Saturday. Every Saturday, him and his mom just have a conversation every Saturday. And I'm like, I was like, I'll do that one time with my mom, and I'm like, I don't really want to talk to you for like another couple months. Like, I can. I was like, I could never do that with my dad. Right. So like, so like that's. I was like, that's
we get into it later in the conversation, but like, you know, I don't talk to my parents, you know, for specific reasons, and for the longest time, people would say like, well, that's your mom, that's your dad. You only get one mom and dad. You know, they only had one me. You know what I mean? You know, I'm second oldest, and there's four of us. I have three siblings, so four total. But they only had one Nicholas. And it's my duty to make sure their feelings and emotions and everything's validated. But I have to put my stuff on the back burner. It took me 30 years to realize that, man.
It's not fair at all. And I was like, and especially because like with my mom, like when I lived with her, even though I was the oldest, I always felt like I was like second fiddle because it seemed like she put the other ones before me. And then with my dad, my younger brother, I knew he put him before me. Like he made it as obvious as could be. Like he could do no wrong, and I did everything wrong. And so it was like as an adult, it was like as an adult, as I got older, like I've talked to my little brother on my dad's side. Me and him have always been chill. Like we have no issues with each other. We don't talk like brothers talk because we didn't really grow up with each other. We spent legit 2 years with each other.
Gotcha.
Then we, like my dad put me in a group home and raised him at the house. And so it was, but we have no issues with each other because we were kids. I was like, I have no issue with you, bro. We were kids. I was like, and then I was like, honestly,
I'm completely opposite. I hated my younger brother.
I had to talk to. I got a brother like that too, and like I had to talk to him about it. I'm like, bro, you gotta understand. I'm like, we all kids at that time. Like we all learning, we all growing. I'm like, why wouldn't a kid want to accept the love from a parent? I was like, why wouldn't that?
Right.
Like, why wouldn't they take advantage of that? I'm like, you can't hate that. I was like, you can't hate that person for being that. I was like, that's that was never their choice. I was like, they were a kid growing and learning at the same time you were. I was like, I've never had any ill will with my younger siblings, like never, because I'm just like, y'all were kids. We were all kids, man. I was like, this is all on the upper echelon, man. I was like, they were doing that. They were pitting us against each other. They were putting favoritism and doing that stuff. I was like, I ain't got no issue with y'all. I want to see y'all all succeed. I was like, I want to see y'all all succeed. I want to see y'all all be good. I was like, I'm extremely proud of all my younger siblings. I was like, even the ones that got some issues, I'm still proud of them. Like that's my blood. Like I'm never gonna be like, hey man, like
absolutely.
I was like, but I don't talk to them as much as I should. I don't talk to them as much as other siblings do, and I think that's more of I took all of that burden because I feel like I separated us because the situation where my mom lost her parental rights, that all came down to me. Like that was me. That was me blowing the whistle because I was scared to go home and take an ass whooping, and that was me. In a very selfish moment. Like it wasn't thinking about consequences. It was just thinking about, hey, I don't want to go home and take a whooping. And after that, like they all separate. Like my little brother goes through his stuff. My two younger siblings, they moved to Texas and live with their dad. They don't even really have memories of my mom. They call his wife their mom. And I'm like, that's my fault. And so like I had that burden on me for a long time. So I never felt the need to reach out to them because I was like, hell, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't want to fucking talk to me. I'm like, bro, this stupid motherfucker. I was like, he the reason for this shit. Like, I was like, I wouldn't want to talk to me. So I was like, I would watch from a distance. I'd watch from a distance. If I saw that they need something, I would try to reach out. But like, I just kind of let them live their lives.
Right. Yeah, see, I was the second oldest, and I'll make this short, but like, I was the second oldest, and so I have an older brother, but my younger siblings, I have a younger sister and a younger brother, and I never tried to force that big brother role on myself and to them. It just came naturally, bro. Like my sister's my best friend, besides my wife, but my sister's my best friend. My younger brother, like I said, I hated him growing up. I would beat the hell out of him. And like it was just for the simple fact that he had a different childhood than I had. And as an adult, you got to think about it, man. Like just like you said, like We all got to figure it out, bro. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's not his fault that my parents treated him differently than they treated me.
Yeah.
But my younger brother, he's staying with me for right now, and he's getting on his feet, and he got a job, got a house. So I'm super proud of him, bro. But I always put myself, like, again, I never forced it, but I always stepped into that big brother role. I always wanted my siblings to succeed in life. I always want them to do good, and I always want them to do better than what I'm doing. I want nothing but the best for my siblings, and so it's just I relate to that fully. So
I was like, it was another time when I was talking to one of my younger siblings. I told him, I was like, hey man, you gotta understand. I was like, parents are just kids having kids. I was like around kid 3 or 4, I was like, you gotta understand, they're maturing as they're having kids. I was like, so they're seeing their errors. I was like, they're like, I can't do the same thing. I was like, of course, the younger the child, the different they're gonna experience things.
Big time.
I was like, at the beginning, I was like, a dad might be super strict with his first child because that's his first child. He wants to understand that. But by the 4th or 5th kid, I was like, he laid back. He tired. He like, hey, man,
he checked out.
He like, hey, your big brother gonna have to talk to you about that one.
Exactly.
His parents are just kids having kids. Like nobody's ever ready for that step. Nobody plans that step. That's just a blessing that God gives you, and you got to roll with it.
Absolutely.
It's a very maturing thing. It's a different thing to look at, but it does shape you, and that kind of leads us into our second question of how do you think your childhood shaped the way that you handle emotions and conflicts as an adult?
Ooh, that's a tough one, man. So when I really sat back and like think about this question, I just so my dad belittled me every chance he got.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was ever enough for him. So to survive, I became a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I thought I could just make everyone happy and make things stay calm, and but as an adult, that mindset turned into exhaustion, man. I just found myself like run down trying to please my parents, my siblings, my wife, her family. I was just tired, man. I was constantly trying to fix everything and everyone and thinking that was love, when really it was fear. It was just fear of just what would happen if these people weren't happy with me. You know? So, so I honestly, like, therapy has helped.
Yeah.
Helped me see that, I was confusing peace with control.
Mm-hmm.
Real peace is not about keeping everyone else calm. It's about finding calm within myself.
Yeah.
I had to, it sounds silly, bro, but like I had to learn to say no to people and still be able to feel loved. I can disappoint people and still feel worthy of their companionship, of their, whatever it may be. That's how it shaped me today. I've been a people pleaser, going on 30 years now, and 32, and I'm breaking that cycle. So it's hard. People think it's just like you be stern one day and then you're good to go, and it's a process, man. It really is.
It is, and man, like the way it shaped me in two folds. Like with my mom, it was always. I really picked up on it the older I got when I looked back at girlfriends. I don't know if I was talking to a younger kid the other day that I work with, and I was like, I think I've only had like 2 girlfriends in my life, and he's all like, what? I was like, I never really like looked at relationships like that. And he was like, what? And it just made me think more of what I was already thinking about, because like the girls I would talk to, they shared a lot of similarities with my mom, but they were all the bad similarities. Like it was me reverting back to my childhood, being a little 2-year-old trying to save my mom and trying to be the man of the house and trying to make sure that my mom was good. And I told my buddy, I was like, I felt like a security blanket. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I was who they talked to feel good about themselves. I was like, and once they felt good about themselves, once they felt pretty again, once they felt beautiful again, they went and found somebody they actually wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit sucked. I was like, it sucks. I was like, there's so many girls like that I've talked to, and like I always got the, well, you're too clingy. Like you're always wanting me to text you this or text you that or text you at this time. And I'm like, see, that's different though, because when you need it, like I'm not I'm calling you clingy. I'm like,
exactly.
Hey, I'm like, why are you like that? Like what's going on? What's wrong? I was like, but when I do it, it's not like, oh, what's wrong with him? It's like, hey, like chill out. Like I got this dude I'm talking to now. So like back up. It is, and it's for my previous listeners who have been following the show. And if you haven't, go check it out on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. But I have a podcast. I have an episode called Love or Lust, because I really confused that when I was younger. Like that was another
episode.
Yeah, I was like, there was another thing where that was a similarity of my dad. Like my grandma would say that all the time. She was like, as much as he wants to talk shit, you're just like him. It was like, I was like, is that good or bad? And she was like, no, you have his good quality. She was like, she's like, some of the bad is. She's like, it's coming, but I was like, wait, what? I was like,
wait a minute.
I was like, but no, like, cause it was just, I was always just chasing chicks. Like I was just chasing chicks. I was smashing anything that moved. Like there was no emotions there. Like, I mean, high school was the worst. Like my senior year of high school, like I talk about my senior year in high school in third person. That's a whole other person. I'm like, that's senior subject. Like, because
he said, that's a whole other person. I don't even know that person no more.
I was like, that dude was a demon. Like I was just doing the most. Like I didn't care what nobody said. I didn't get two shits. I only needed one class to graduate. I had already signed my letter to go play ball. Like I was just smashing anything. Like I remember one girl, she was like, well, that college is super far. And I was like, fuck your point is. Like, it's like, what's your point? Like, I mean, and it just continued. And it's just, like, I remember when I told my buddy when I was around 27, 28, and I was like, hey, man, I need to chill. Like, I've been teaching for a while and coaching for a while, and I've always loved working with kids, especially kids that kind of grew up the way I grew up. I've always loved working with them. And I was like, man, all my buddies were married and having kids and houses. And I was like, I'll never be jealous of you. I was like, I'm envious. I was like, because that's a step that I want to get to. I was like, I'm envious of that connection and that love that you have with your children and your wife. Like, I'm envious of that. But it was a thing where, like, I remember talking to him. I was like, bro, it's going to be a while for me. I was like, 'cause that karma from my younger years is going to come back hard as hell. And I was like,
it's going to come back when you least expect it too.
It's going to suck. And I was like, like, I'm very guarded, and people take that as a disrespectful, like, or they take it as like me thinking I'm better than them. And I'm like, no, that's not it. Like, I'm looking at things logically. Like, I don't look at things the way that you would look at it. Like, I when I see a red flag, I don't be like, I can fix that. Like, that's younger me. I was like, younger me saw that and was attracted to that. And I was like, I've been through that. I don't want to see that shit no more. I was like, now when I see that red flag, I'm like, deuces. Like, I was like, especially at a certain age. I'm like, once you're at a certain age, you're not growing or maturing. Like that flag may go down a little bit, but it's still there. And some of the biggest flags that get me is like the insecurity. Like I was talking to a buddy the other day. I was like, man, I can't stand women with all the fake stuff. And he was like, what? I was like, bro, I had this conversation with a girl one time, and she really had to think about it. And I had to think about it too, because she gave me some valid points. And I told her, I was like, hey, she was like, well, what's your issue with it? I was like, this is my issue with it. I was like, especially being a religious person. I was like, in the Bible says God made us in his image. It's like he made us in his image, his love, and the way that he sees us, that's how he made us. And I was like, and when it comes to men, I was like, if you're an ugly man, ain't nothing making you look better but money. I was like,
yeah, that's all it is.
ain't nothing making you look better than money.
That's all it is.
Like,
yep.
if you're an ugly chick, you can go hit the doctor and get everything switched up. And I'm
like a whole different person.
I was like, that's on the media. I was like, that's on men. I was like, and that's on you. I was like, because media makes you feel that way. Men tell you that you're ugly, and you think that. I was like, not good man, stupid man tell you that shit. I was like, men with their own insecurities tell you that, and you listen to that. I was like, but then it's also on you because you're so insecure with yourself that you're like, okay, I need to go change myself. And I was like, and that's why I can't date anybody like that. And she was like, wow. I was like, because you're legit looking into the mirror and telling God that he fucked up. I was like, you're telling God that he fucked up. And I was like, if God can't please you, how the hell can I please you?
How can I do it?
I was like, that don't make sense to me. I was like, because you're legit looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, God, these A cups, you fucked up right there. I think I need to be a C. Or you're like, you know what, God, these lips are too fucking flat.
You forgot something. Right, yeah.
Like, no, like he did not make a mistake. Like you gotta love you for you. You gotta love you like he loves you. And you gotta find a man that's gonna love you like he loves you. Like I was like, so if he can't please you, how can I? It's so that's just
right. Yeah.
Like I run away.
I was just having this conversation with my wife the other day. You know, as you get older, your body changes. You have kids.
Always.
You know, your body changes. Hormones are up or down, bro. My wife is still the hottest woman I've ever laid my eyes on, bro. And it's hard for to see that. You know, just like me, I'm getting older. I'm getting gray hairs in my beard. I went bald, but you know that's just life. That's what God had in store for you. And I had to tell my wife, you know, by you not loving yourself, you're also not loving God and what he did for you and how he made you. And so, yeah, that's funny that you said that, man. I really appreciate you throwing that in there about, you know, you not almost disrespecting, but disrespecting God by saying, I need to fix this. I need to fix that. And man, that's a great take, man. I love that.
Yeah. And I was like, with that take, we're going to lead into question number 3. And this could be a quick one because I think we've talked about it already in some part. Do you think unresolved childhood pain affects how we choose our partners and friends?
Oh, big time, bro. So I've been with my wife 17 years. We met when we were 15, 16. You know, we were dating and things were great. I mean, you know, I was 15, 16, had found the love of my life. You know, I even told my friends, I'm going to marry that girl one day. But deep down, I was like waiting for something bad to happen. Sounds strange. Sounds crazy. I don't know why, but I just thought like that. And I was so used to like chaos at home and like feeling like peace didn't feel real. You know, it's weird. So I did what felt safe to me and I pushed her away. When we were 18, you know, I broke up with her just because I was trying to find every little thing to make it a problem or make it an issue when really it wasn't. It was just my own insecurity, trying to be like, things are too good. Let me cut it off before it gets worse, you know? I wanted to beat the pain to the punch, if that makes sense. You know, and it was like, I'd rather ruin something good than risk being hurt again.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that because I mean, it's like I've done that in many relationships. I do that in life. Like I was talking to my core group of friends, my guys, and we were talking about how I never stay in one place too long. And they were like, "Man, where's that?" They was like, "Why you always do that, man?" Like they was like, "You never in any one spot way too long." Like they were like, "We remember in college, bro, you never even had a phone for a long time. Like we all like it'd be 2 months and different phone number in the group text. We like, who the hell is this? It is like, oh, said I got a new phone. It's like, bro, what's going on? And I told him, I was like, as I got older, I realized I was like, man, it's growing up in the foster care system. I was like, whenever I got comfortable somewhere, whenever I got comfortable and I felt like I could be me and like grow and build friends with somebody, then I was moved.
Yeah.
Then I was shifted.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, when I get comfortable somewhere, it doesn't become like a natural thing. It becomes a fear. Like I'm like, I'm too comfortable right now. Like I'm too happy. Like this can't last. It never lasts. It never does. So I was like, I need to change and flip it up. I was like, I need to get back to being in my shithole because that's where I feel comfortable. So,
it's a weird feeling, right? It's a weird feeling.
It's a super weird feeling. And I was like, that's the whole thing with Japan. Like I felt so at peace in Japan, especially in the last 6 months I was there. Felt so in peace there. Like it was just felt natural. I got into my rhythm. I was learning more and more Japanese to talk to people more and more, and it was just I got into a routine where I was comfortable, and then I was like, it's time to go. Like it was because it was just too comfortable. I was too comfortable. I was in a spot of comfortability, and I was just like, it's time to go. And I've always done that. And it's why I never stay at jobs for too long. Like I'm at a job for so long, and then I get just too comfortable, and I'm like, I gotta switch it up. We gotta do something new because I'm too comfortable. That's from childhood things, and that's something I'm still working through, trying to get past that. Because even now, being here in Arizona, I've only been here in Arizona for October, so I've been here for 5-6 months or 5 months, and I'm already like,
starting to get that itch again.
And I'm like, it's having to finally like just be like, screw it. I just gotta find somewhere and just settle and put my roots down and just start. And I was like, because like there's been too many chances where I could have already done it and been that way. And I was like, but I've ran out of fears. Flight over fear. So it was like
so you're getting that itch to kind of like, I've been here too long, but then you're also getting that itch of, hey Cedric, step out of that comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, because even like, and then it's with the friends too, because sometimes like people feel like I don't want to hang out with them, or I don't want to like talk to them or be like that. But it's like the growth of a person. Like I've never liked drinking to begin with, and so when I stopped drinking, it was just like, oh well, he stopped drinking, and I was like, why is that issue?
Like it's a negative thing,
Why is that an issue? And I was like, I've never been a big smoker, and so like when I finally was just like, I'm kind of done smoking too. Like everybody's like, he thinks he's better. I'm like, what? Like no, like I'm like I was like, it's so different to me because I don't judge you off of what you do. Like you care less. Like if you want to go get shit faced to get drunk every damn night, I think it's dumb. I was like, but that's you.
Yeah.
I could care less. Like, and I told somebody I was talking to, one of the younger guys I work with, I was telling him, I was like, y'all generation, I was like, and even part of my generation, I was like, the millennials, I was like, we care too much about what other people do, and it's so annoying to me. I was like, I see it all the time. I was like, people that you've never met, that you've never had a conversation with, you just watch them on the screen, they pass away, and you're just like, I'm like, bro, you never sat down with that person. Like, why? Like, no, there's a difference. You can care and be respectful and be like, I'm sorry that happened, condolences, but then move on. I was like, some people make it their whole life. They're like living through somebody else. I'm like, why can't you just live through you? Just be you. Like,
that's that social media influence. That's all it is. Yeah, we were about the same age. We didn't have that growing up, bro. I had a little flip phone, and we did a T9 texting, and I could carry a whole conversation on the desk looking at this, teacher. And it's social media, bro. It's taking over, and it's just gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse and worse. And I told him, I was like, because I was telling him, I was like, man, I was like, I say y'all generation. I was like, but I gotta blame my generation. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, 'cause
Yeah.
we invented all this crap. I was like, the dude that invented Snapchat, he my age. Facebook, my age. MySpace, all that crap, my age. I was like, we invented this crap. I was like, we put y'all in this hole. And I was like, and the funniest thing to me ever, I was like, is the stuff that y'all use the most was invented just out of heartbreak. I was like that. I was like, Facebook was invented because he was heartbroken. Girl,
right? Yeah.
So he invented Facebook so he could stalk her. Weird. I was like, Snapchat was invented because of that. Like, it's like, I was like, it's just these kids. Like, I feel for them because I'm like, y'all gonna have a generation that's just. I was like, and y'all listen to all these talking heads on TV that. I was like, they're just pushing the narrative to you. They're not even trying to help you. They're just pushing the narrative. I was like,
do you think the generation before us thought the same thing though? Like for our generation?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I mean, it comes with every generation. Like I told, I was like, because I remember when I hit the age where I was like, this music sucks. I was like, God damn it, I'm old now. Like this, I was like, I'm old now because I'm at that where this music sucks. I was like, South Park had a great episode about that, where they were talking about like the older you get, like once you hit a maturity level, like stuff starts to sound like shit to you. And like there was an episode where Stan was listening to that music and it started to sound like everything was just starting to sound like shit to him. And they were like, you just matured. Then it was like you matured into an asshole, but you matured into
I'll be honest with you, bro. I couldn't tell you one new artist out right now. I mean, that's just
like it's crazy to me. Like when I listen to music now, I'm just like, there's some where I'm like, that's cool. Like, but some I'm like, nah, I can't do it, man. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Like I'm at that age now where I like what I like and I'm staying.
I was just about to say that. Yep. I like what I like.
Yeah, I was like, I like what I like and I'm staying with it. I was like, but I was like, the generation, I was like, because we were talking about it the other day, and I was talking about it with a lady friend of mine, and we were talking about it. And I was telling her, I was like, scientifically, I was like, historically, we're living in the safest, fastest, most efficient era ever. I was like, that's just well. I was like, people aren't dying as quick as they used to. I was like, people are living longer lives. People are healthier. I was like, all around the world, it's just a safer time. I was like, it's a safer time. It's a more healthy time. I was like, but if you turn on the TV, you turn on the media, I was like, it's the worst time in the world.
It's the worst time. Yep.
Like, she was like, well, why is that? I was like, because I was like, fear sells. I was like, nobody wants to hear about the good story. Nobody wants to hear the good story. The good story's boring. I was like, they want to hear about the fear. They want to be scared. I was like, media is great at doing this. They're great at scaring you. And I was like, and what's making it worse is that they're doing it in the school systems now. I was like, because you can't control intelligent people. I was like, you can only control people who don't know what they're doing. I was like, so now they're making this whole generation stupid and making them live off of their phones with AI and all this stuff. And so like now when they're looking at real world issues, they don't know what the hell is going on because they're not intelligent enough to understand it. And I was like, this is becoming a dark time. I was like, we gotta switch it up, man. Gotta switch it up. I was like, it's gotta be quick. I was like, because as a former history teacher, I always had it written on my board. If you don't learn from history, you'll repeat it. And
that's good.
I remember telling my students one time in our government class, I wrote down 2 civilizations. And like I handed them a sheet of paper and I was like, tell me which one is the Roman civilization and tell me which one is the United States. And they couldn't depict it apart. They were like, what? They were like, yeah. I was like, because the United States is becoming the Roman civilization.
Right.
I was like, that's exactly coming. I was like, and the Romans crumbled. I was like, and the Romans crumbled, and then I was like, and as much as people think the Romans crumbled, they really didn't crumble. They just became the Catholic Church. I was like, when
you think about it,
like, the Romans became the Catholic Church. I was like, I was like, this is always going to happen, and we're not learning from it. I was like, we're not learning from it. The reason we're not learning from it is the same thing that happened with the Romans. I was like, they deleted all their history. They went through and burnt all of it so that you couldn't learn from it, so that you couldn't learn from the past. And I was like, they made you do one thing. I was like, that's how you control people. I was like, you erase their history so that you can control them. I was like, that is something that you have to open your eyes to.
Yes.
Let's jump into this next question. When did you first realize your childhood might be influencing your adult life?
Oh, yeah. So I realized it through how I handled conflict. Anytime like things got tense or like I could feel like confrontation was about to build, I shut down. I shut down completely, took myself out of the equation, and I thought if I stayed quiet, the problem would just disappear. And that's what worked when I was a kid. You know, I could see my dad or my mom, tension build up between them. House was crazy, man. It was chaotic. Fights every night. You know, just my dad, you know, he was a cocaine addict. He was also an alcoholic. And so sometimes he would come home just in a fit of rage. Sometimes he would come home drunk. And whenever I saw that, I would take myself out of that equation and just put myself in the room. I didn't have a TV in my room. I didn't have, you know, I had toys, but I didn't have a ton of toys. But I just felt most safe by myself in my room, you know. And, you know, silence to me back then meant survival. But as an adult, that silence builds walls, man. And it doesn't make the problem go away. It just disconnects you from people who care about you. Now I try to speak up even when it's uncomfortable. Because staying quiet might avoid the argument, but it also avoids healing. All you're doing when you're staying quiet is just building, pushing it further, deepening down until you're pushing more on top of more on top of more. Eventually, you're just going to blow up, and you don't know why you're blowing up. You know, a fork could be laying in the drawer the wrong way, and you just absolutely lose it on your whole family, and it's just because you're bottling up and you're staying quiet and you're thinking that it's helping the problem, but it's not. You know, so every time I use my voice, I try to take a piece of that power back. I remind myself that I am allowed to speak, and I am allowed to be heard.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And we'll go ahead and jump into question 5.
Let's do it.
How does trauma show up in relationships, like your love life, family? I mean, heck, even work sometimes.
Absolutely. So, it shows up in the smallest ways and in the smallest things. So, to me, I love working out. My health is everything. I want to be healthy for my son. I want to be, I want to live to be 99 with my wife. But when I first got into the gym and healthy and being, everything like that, it wasn't for health and for myself. My dad used to, tell me to, never take my shirt off. He would call me fat on a regular basis. I wore a shirt to bed until I was 21, until my wife told me, why do you sleep with a shirt on? And I never told her. I just said, I don't know. I get cold, but it was just because those words deep down in me, they just kind of sat there and they just never left, So for years I worked out to prove my dad wrong, if that made sense. I wasn't chasing health. I was chasing validation. And I wanted to be strong enough to, that no one can ever make me feel that small again, Over time, I realized that kind of drive isn't healthy. I've gotten hurt plenty of times trying to lift things that, were too heavy. I'd blown out my back like 3 times, but it just isn't, it's not a healthy way to go about being healthy. You can't heal by trying to prove someone wrong either. Now I train for me, for peace, for strength, for longevity. I don't work out from a place of hate anymore. And, my headphones would be blaring and I'd see my dad in the mirror, and I'm getting pretty swole, and then but now I just do it from a place of self-respect. So.
Yeah. It's like that's a good answer. That's a great answer. I was like, trauma shows up more in my work life, like because we don't like relationships. Like I'm a very different person when I'm in a relationship, and that's why I genuinely kind of like being in relationships because I'm a very different person. But at work, it shows up because I was raised in a very black household. Like I was raised very black household. Like my grandfather was Army war veteran, highway patrolman. My grandmother was very civil rights movement. They taught me how to be a man and how to walk as a black man, especially in the South. As a black man in the South, like they taught me how to walk and how to talk and how to maneuver my way through crowds that they knew I was going to have to journey through because they like I think my grandmother and grandfather realized at a young age how intelligent I was, and they knew I wasn't going to go to black schools. They knew I was going to go to other schools where I was going to be surrounded by white people all the time.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So they were kind of preparing me for that, and I never looked at people for their color because my grandfather was big on that. He was like, never judge people by that. He was like, judge them by their character. He was like, how they treat you. He was like, don't judge them by that. He was like, judge them by their character. Their character is who they are, not their skin color. Their character. And so I've always done that. But he also taught me as a black man working, you go in and you do your job.
Yep.
Keep your head down, you do your job. You never give them a reason to fire you. And that's how I've always worked. And that's how I've always worked. And this new generation of workers, they want to be friends with everybody. They want to be piled up with everybody. They want to talk to everybody. And that's not me at work. Like, me at work, I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Yep. Like, unless it has something to do with our job, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to jack around. I don't want to do anything. Like, if it's slow and we have nothing going on, then we can have a conversation. But if it's busy as can be, just because you're not doing anything doesn't mean I'm not doing something. Like, I'm focused on what I'm doing. Like, I don't want mess ups. I don't want to forget anything, especially as a line cook. Like, as a line cook, I don't want to miss stuff because then I have to redo it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, like, I'm very focused. And then as a teacher, I was like that. I'm like, I never came out of my classroom. Like, when even like teacher events, like, but I'm the only guy there. I'm in a school with 30 female teachers, and I'm the only guy there. And not only is it 30 female teachers, it's 30 female teachers who are married. It's 30 female teachers who have kids. It's 30 female teachers with the one sole black man there. So it's like
it's a little hard to relate to.
I didn't want to do that in a country city that I knew already didn't like me being there. Like there was too many times where parents wouldn't even shake my hand. Like they would just look at me. I had kids quit my team because they were like, my dad doesn't want me to play for you. And I'm like, okay. So
that's crazy.
Like when I tell people about that, they're like, well, I was like, unless you walk in the footsteps of a black man, you don't understand. And I was like, and I've had to deal with shit. I was like, I've had to deal with racism since 5 years old. That's craziness. I was like, why should a 5-year-old have to deal with racism? It's crazy.
Right.
I was like, but I used to walk my buddy home from school, and one day his mom came outside and like grabbed his hand, and she was like, we don't associate with their kind. And I was like, I'm 5 years old. Like, that's the only thing I remembered. And I went home and told my mom, and my mom immediately got pissed. And she was like, where the hell is her house at? Like, show me where her house is at. And I was like, and I didn't want none of that. I was just like, I want to understand why she was so mad and why you're so mad.
Right.
Like all I was doing was walking my friend home. Like, why is she mad? Like, why are you mad that she said what she said? Like, what is the point? And then
did you guys stop like walking together after that?
I'm still walking home. I would just drop him off like a couple of steps before his house because the only reason I walked him home was because people used to pick on him and beat him up. And I walked home with him so that they wouldn't beat him up. And I'm like, this. And then I was like, and then as I got older, I was like, I've had my dad, like, I've had the Klan show up at the house because I was dating a white chick. I was like, I've had stuff where it's just, I'm like, I've had
I can't imagine. I can't imagine, bro.
I've been 16, played in a damn football game or played a basketball game, and parents are screaming out the N-word at me because I'm the only black dude on the field, and I'm just like, bro, y'all grown, man. Why y'all screaming that down here at me, man?
Ignorance is loud, bro. Sometimes ignorance is loud.
And so like that trauma like shapes everything that I do now. So I'm like, I never give people a chance anymore. I'm just like, hey man, I'm gonna come in, do what I need to do, and then I'm out. Like, I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings or if that offends you, but I'm not working for you. You don't pay my paycheck. Like,
exactly.
If my boss was like, hey, you need to be friendlier to everybody, I might still question it. I'm like, for what? Like, for what?
I get paid for that.
I'm like, me and you good. Like,
I don't gotta worry about them.
I got me like everybody else. I was like, for what? So like, oh man, but yeah, so it affects me more in work than it does my love and family, because I don't have love and family. So, well, I've always had work. It's like I've always worked, but the love and the family part, I was like, I might get there one day. Number 6. So after saying that depressing thing, let's go into number 6 about depression. Depression often ties back to your past pain. How do you personally cope with those feelings as they resurface in love, family, work? Like, whenever they pop up, how do you deal with it now?
Absolutely. So let me just start off by saying mental health, men, is real.
Yeah,
it's very real. It's something that I battled with personally for the longest time. I thought strength meant staying quiet, like I said before, pushing through and pretending that I was fine. But bottling up never helps at all. It only eats you away from the inside out. I've learned that real strength is honesty, whether it's uncomfortable, whether it hurts, whether it makes someone feel some type of way. Honesty is what strength is to me. It's being able to say I'm not okay, and knowing that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. We're all not okay. We all have bad days. We all have great days. But we're all human. We all can have feelings and emotions, and especially men. I'm talking to the men right now. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to feel like you don't have it under control. It's okay to feel like you're lost or you don't know what to do in life. That's okay. You just need to reach out to somebody, whether it be a brother in Christ, whether it be anybody, a coworker, somebody you feel close to. Reach out and talk to them, because I guarantee somebody needs to hear the words that you're talking about and that you're speaking. They need to hear those same exact words, because that's going to help them get through their hurdle. So when those come back, I slow down. I personally pray, because I'm a faithful man. Christ has got me to where I am today. I journal. I talk to people I trust. I lift. And, I don't hide the pain anymore. But I just let it all process. I realize healing doesn't mean isolation anymore. It happens in community. It's a connection, and it's the truth. It's in the truth. So
that's great. When it comes to mildly super short, like I meditate. That's one thing that I really picked up in Japan. Meditation and just reanalyzing and resetting. Right, that's just all I do, especially at work. Like at work, when I start to get a little frustrated, especially because it is hilarious to me, because when I was younger, my dad used to call me lazy all the time. He's like, "Bro, you lazy." Like my granddaddy was saying sometimes too. He's like, "Damn, boy, you lazy." And I was like, I was lazy compared to a country boy. I was lazy.
Oh, see, okay. I was gonna say, you didn't sound very lazy to me when you were naming off the stuff you did.
I was lazy compared to an Army war veteran. Like I was like, that's what I'm lazy compared to. I was like, but it's so funny to me because like now, like laziness is like the biggest thing that irks me because it's like laziness is stupidity. And like when people hear that, they're like, well, some people, I was like, no, I'm not talking about people with mental issues. I'm talking about genuine stupidity. Like you just refuse to go out and learn. Like I can't stand that. Like I was like, that's annoying to me. I was like, I don't like dealing with people who are like that. And I was like, then laziness. Like laziness pisses me off in the workplace. Like it pisses me off. I'm like, especially if you're just sitting there on your phone when you could be doing something. Like I'm hurt. It's so I've learned to kind of, instead of saying something, because I would say something all the time. Like, I used to be like, hey, is that person on your phone paying you? They'd be like, off your phone, bro. Like what we doing? Like, come on. I was like, now, like, hey, man, I'm going to go walk in the cooler real quick. And I'll just go in there and meditate for about 30 seconds, just reset, then come back out and be like, all right, let's get it done. Like, it's like I can't control what people do. People are going to be lazy. They're always going to be lazy. The only thing I can control is what I'm going to do. You know,
exactly.
I'm going to do my job. And I was like, and I'm going to be lazy at times too. And if I'm being lazy, I want you to call me out about it. I was like, I respect it both ways. So I was like, but I was like, that's how I deal with my depression now. When I was younger, I dealt with my depression through lust. Like when I was depressed, it was time to hit up a chick because that's the only time I felt validated. So I was like, when I was depressed, I had to run through something. And I was like, if I couldn't do that, then I had to go physically do something. Like I had to go on a run. I had to go on a walk. I had to go play ball. I had to go do something that would just let me reset and burn that off. And just get that out of my head. And I mean, when my mentor passed away a few years ago, I was in a very dark place. That's the whole reason I went to Japan, because I couldn't deal with his loss and having to be around to see everything that me and him used to do. But then it came to the realization when I was in Japan, because everything I did was remember of what me and him would do. Like I went on walks in the park because he used to do that all the time. He would go on walks in the park. I sat at coffee shops because that's what he used to do. Like it was so much stuff in Japan where I was just like, man, he would love this right now. Like he would love to be here doing this right now. And it was a healing time in Japan, and it really helped me out. So I was like, dealing with my depression is very different. Like, and then like I said, I am a religious person, but the church is still somewhere that's very hard for me to go.
I understand.
The churches, because it just feels so different. And I don't know if it's because I'm older now and I can analyze it differently. But the church doesn't feel like a place of God anymore. The church feels like a place of judgment. Like, and it's
is there if I don't mean to cut you off, but is there a certain time or like a certain point that so it's church hurt pretty much, like the church hurt you in some type of way, whether it be like spiritually, emotionally, whether it may be, was there a time that the church hurt you in a certain, like, can you recall?
I mean, it's just like growing up, like I said, growing up in the South, and then also going to like predominantly white churches, it always felt like a very judgy thing when I would come in the door. Like it was, and then the way that sometimes they would talk to me, like I understood tones and I understood the way, and they would speak to me like they would speak down to me. And it wasn't speaking down to me because I was a child. I was like, I'm a grown man at this point. They're speaking down to me because of just who I am. And that irked me. And then my mentor, who was a pastor, me and him talked about it all the time. And he was past. It really made it hard for me to go into a church, because it was like, now I'm walking into this place that I already had a illusion about. I was like, now I'm walking into it without confidence of him. And so like now it's just like I can have a relationship with God without the church. Like, and I understand that the church is a community and I understand what that means. I was like, but I was like, I've even like, because me and him talked about it all the time. I was like,
Okay.
entire life of Jesus. I was like, Jesus never went to church. I was like, he went to synagogue twice. I was like, that's what I was like in the book. He's went to synagogue twice, but I was like, he prayed by himself or he prayed with the disciples. I was like, and then he stated, whenever there are three or more together and you speak of me or my Father, that is
Right.
church. And I was like, so I was like, if I can do that with just people that I'm comfortable with, why do I need that building in that walls? I don't.
Right.
I mean, I don't. So it's been hard, and I have no disrespect to anybody that does
Of
go to
course.
church and stuff like that's.
Yeah.
Everybody finds God in a different way, but
Absolutely.
right now, I was like, right now, my journey with God and religion is more of I liken it to David after I liken it to David during the Psalms. Like during the Psalms when David is just struggling after sending his best friend's wife, or after sending his best friend to war so that he could die, so that he could marry his wife.
Yep.
And then he felt so bad about that, and it was
right.
Like he was just struggling with God, and him and God were just having conversations, and he's just pouring his heart out to God in the Psalms, and he feels forsaken by God. He feels like God has turned his back on him, and like that's where I kind of feel like I am.
Yeah.
But I'm turning the page, and I'm trying to get to that point. But like that's where I liken it. I liken it as David just struggling with God in the old.
Okay. Yeah. I might ask you to step out of your comfort zone. We can do it after the podcast, or we can do it on the podcast. But I'm gonna ask you to step you out of your comfort zone, maybe later this year. So,
all right, we'll see.
We'll get something together.
All right. So, what does healing look like for you now, or what does it mean to start the process? Like, nobody is ever completely healed. Nobody is ever completely complete, because that's every day of life is a journey. It's a growth.
Absolutely. Yep.
You should be extremely happy every day that you get to walk on earth, because many people do. So it's, what does healing look like? Like, I was like, the biggest thing that I ever said, like, is back when I used to do music, I actually wrote it in the verse, and I was like, I don't want to pass on my curse to my son. I was like, I don't want to pass that along. I don't want to pass along my insecurities and my depression and my sense of not feeling worthy to my child. I was like, I don't want to pass that along. And that's what I was like, that's what healing will always look like to me. Like I don't want the divorce. I don't want none of that. I was like, when I get married and have kids, that's it. I was like, that's me and her. I was like, me and her getting through it, and that's what we're gonna do. And I was like, and I never want my kids to experience or feel that way.
Right.
I know it's hard to not do that, because kids are going to feel any type of way. I was like, kids feel sad when you take away their toy when it's 2:00 in the morning and they need to go to bed. And they're like, man, you take away my toy, you don't love me no more, man. Like, it's like, no, bro, go to bed. Like, it's like it's a whole other thing. But so, what does healing look like for you?
Man, I love this question, because healing for me is just that. It's healing, man.
Yeah.
It's, I've gone to therapy. I've given my life to Christ. And most importantly, I've broken those generational traumas that could have carried over to my son. Yeah. Man, this part might get me. Man, it gets me every time. But when I look at my son, man, I see little me. Yeah. The version of me that was, man. Yeah. The version of me that was scared.
Yeah.
Searching, the version of me that was unsure. That's why I tell him every chance I get how much I love him. I play the games that he makes up for absolutely no reason. We were building potato heads, and one of them was named Sugar Plum for some weird reason, and I just had to go with it, man. I listened to his stories. I let him know that I'm just not his dad. I'm his best friend.
Yeah.
I want him to feel what I didn't. And that was safety, that was love, that was the freedom to be a kid, and that's what healing looks like to me now. It's choosing love where there used to be fear. So
yeah, that's a great thing. That's a great thing because like as a teacher, I remember I would call my first and second graders my babies because they were just they're babies.
Yeah, they're babies, bro.
I was like, but like I remember one of my fellow teachers, she was like, why do you always like sit there and like play games with them and like listen to everything? I was like, because they're babies. I was like, and they just want the attention and they want to be heard. And I was like, I was like, I ain't got no problem sitting there listening to a story about nonsense. I was like, like I have no problem listening to them tell me about how they couldn't get their shoes untied and that they tried forever and they kept tied into different knots and they didn't know how to. I was like, I have no issue with that, and I have no issue playing their little games. I'm like, I was like, I want them to understand that I got them. I was like, I got them, man. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. Like it's all good. And I've always been that way when I work with kids. Like I've always, when I was coaching, when I was house parent, when I was mentoring, I would even when, as much as I talk about not being church, I was a youth pastor for a long time. Like so, like it was when I was doing that. Because I remember my mentor, who's a pastor, he came and watched one of my Wednesday services with the kids because he was wondering why. Like first week we did it, I had like 6 kids show up. Next week we did it, we had 12. Next week it was 20. Next week it was the whole campus. And he was all like, "Why are they all coming?" He was like, "He's like, we can barely get them to go to church on Sunday mornings, but they all want to come." So he thought I was just playing games and stuff. He was like, he just showed up out of nowhere and like just kind of sat in the back and watched and listened. Yeah. And then afterwards he came to me. He was like, "I understand now." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I understand why they want to be in here." He was like, "Because you don't talk to them like you're better than them. You talk to them out of I was there. I understand." Like you let them talk back. You let them express themselves. You let them ask questions, and you're honest with them. He's like, they'll ask you a question about God, and you'll be honest with them. And unlike a pastor or somebody else who will come up with an answer, you'll sit there and say, "I don't know." Like nobody does. Like, and he's like, so I get why they like coming in here now. And I just told him, I was like, when I look at kids now, I always want them to succeed. I want them to be happy. I want them to be successful and live life to the fullest because you only get one life. Like, and I'm like, and the next chapter is scary because we don't know what the next chapter is. Nobody knows. Once they go over, they can't come back and tell us. I was like, if they could come back and tell us, you would look at them crazy and then kill them. I was like, we have historical proof about that. So I was like,
exactly.
Kind of the story of Jesus. That's what he told you what it'd be like, and you were like, "Yeah, nah, we're good. We're gonna kill you, buddy." But hey, appreciate you. Because I was telling them about that in history. I was like, history does that all the time. I'm like, story of Marco Polo. I was like, Marco Polo, an Italian explorer. It's like they settled to China to see what China was doing because they heard about spices from India and all this stuff. It's like, then he comes back and he's like, "Hey, man, they're way past us, man. They have roads, they have mail systems, they have these spices, they have all these different things, they have irrigation systems, they have flushing toilets. Like, they're way past us." And like the Italian government was like, "Kill him, bro." Like, kill him, man. I was like, and then they just murked them, and then they go over to China for themselves, and they find out that everything is good. They're like, "Oh, that's our bad." That's our like, Marco wasn't alive, man. They're like, "Hey, we got to keep him in memory forever. Let's make him into an aquatic game. He always was." Hey, Marco, hey, I got you. Live on forever. It's like, no, So I was like, they've always done that in history. I was like, once you start to show too much of the truth, like they're like, yeah,
Yeah, we gotta take him out.
They're like, get rid of that guy.
Yep.
It's like, no. It's like, man. But man, this has been a great episode, man. Before we leave, I want everybody to understand that healing is not about forgetting what happened. It's about learning from it, living, and growing.
Yep.
The child in you deserves to be at peace with the adult that you become. Okay. And it is all about love and peace. And I know we've had some fun and we've joked around and we've cracked some jokes. I love to laugh. That's just what I do. I was like, I make everything a joke. But I take things very serious. So it's very awesome. It's very different. But that is what life is, man. It's not just history. And like, you have to learn from everything that you did as a child growing up. And you have to also learn how to forgive. Like, I know it hurts sometimes, but you got to forgive the people that did it, because
Absolutely.
Trust me, they're going on with their day. They're going on with their day. Like, I remember when somebody asked me why I don't hate people. I'm like, why would I hate somebody? I was like, I could hate somebody with all my heart, and they would never know. I was like, they're just going on about their day. I'm the one being affected. So what the hell would I hate somebody? I'm like, no, man. I was like, I forgive them. I was like, they do them, I do me. I was like, it's what it is, man. That's life. Is there anything you want to say? We can close out.
Yeah, just first of all, I want to say thank you, man, just for giving me this opportunity and the space just to be vulnerable, be open and allow people to see a little bit into my life and let people know that what you're going through is you're not alone in it. There's thousands of people going through the same exact situation you are. And if there's one thing I've learned from that, it's that healing doesn't look the same for everyone. Some people it's therapy, some people it's faith, like you just said, it's forgiveness, setting boundaries. For me, it was all of the above. I had to do every single thing in order to find my peace where I'm at today. Part of my healing was going no contact with my parents. It wasn't easy, and it's not something that I was excited to do. I want a relationship with my parents. I want to call my mom and my dad and tell them that my son is, going to start kindergarten next year. I want them to be at Christmas and birthdays, but it's just not something that is going to protect my peace and my family's peace, if that makes sense. I did it for peace. I didn't do it for anger. This is the first time in my life where I can breathe without waiting for the next wound. I can live without walking on eggshells. I've never been more at peace than I am right now, and that's the thing. Everyone's healing journey is different. Your journey is not the same as mine. We might have some similarities, and we might have like some roads where we cross, but it's not the same. Everybody's different, and there's no right way to heal, if that makes sense. You heal how you need to heal, and I'm going to heal the way I need to heal. But the point is to find what brings you peace and to protect that with all your life. Because once someone breaks that peace, that's when you fall back into old ways. The child in us didn't deserve what happened. I'm going to say that one more time. The child in us did not deserve what happened, but the adult in us deserves peace. Healing isn't about pretending it never happened. It's about no longer letting it control you. And then I'm just going to close off with this, to the men listening, open up, please. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you brave, because it doesn't take strength to feel what you spent years running from. Healing doesn't make you soft. It makes you whole. Just that, man. Again, thank you for having me on. Thank you for the audience for listening. You guys can find me on social media. I'm mostly on Instagram. I post a lot of, spiritual and faithful stuff, if I do post at all. But my Instagram tag is at Nick A. Quintela. That's NickAQuintela. Send me a message. Send me a follow request. If anything, resonated with you, if you want to share with your past trauma, I'm here to listen. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to give you advice. I am here to listen to whatever you're going through. And if you need, any type of way that I helped myself move through life that can help you, I'm here to do that. So
yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Well, once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to Conversing Over Drinks. I have been your host, Cedric Turner. And like Nick said, you will be able to see all of our social media tags on the episode. They will be in all the links. You can click on them. You can hit them up anytime. Once again, guys, if you want to be on the episode, just hit me up, man. Just hit me up. We'll talk about it. You can hit me up on Instagram. You can hit me up on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but Facebook Messenger, you can hit me there. Like, I leave that open so that people can message me. Or you can just send me a message or an email, because my email is always connected to all of my shows. And if you want to talk about something, if you have a question about something, if you have a story that you want to share, but you don't want to be on the episode, you would just like me to share your story, let me know. But once again, thank you guys for tuning in to Conversing Over Drinks. I have been your host, Cedric Turner. Thank you, Nick, for being the guest. We will see you guys later. Once again, we are on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like, share, comment, do whatever you want to do. But just enjoy the episode, and I hope that it helps you in whatever way you need it. All right? Thank you, guys. Peace. I'm out.
Appreciate you guys.